What's up, everybody? GreyMan here with another video. So I've decided to do this video in regards to, and usually 90% of the videos that I do is due to questions that I'm asked on a consistent basis. And a lot of folks out there who are new to prepping or new to getting into being prepared have a lot of questions. They look at, where do I start? What do I do? How much is this going to cost me? So I try to kind of put a list together with different things that I've read and my experiences to hopefully help some of you folks out there get a better grasp of what you can do and some tips and ideas of ways that you can begin your journey into prepping, either free to low cost, and kind of give you maybe, let's say, somewhat of a blueprint of things that you can do to start this journey. And hopefully this will give you some more organization into your thought process, especially when you're really new, because it can be very, very overwhelming. So hopefully you'll find some useful information in this video. And if you like what you see, of course, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and share this with other folks and friends that you might find that may find value out of something like this. So let me go ahead and bring up my list. And I'm a fan of lists because there's no way to possibly remember every single thing that I want to say without my list. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this. I titled, this video, new to prepping, question mark, to ask that question. And then, here are 15 free, 15 free to low cost ways to start prepping. Because I find that this can be extremely informational. So let's go ahead and start off. Here's my first tip. So we're going to start with number one. Make a plan. So, to me this is one of the most critical steps into becoming more prepared, is making a plan. Consider what you have, consider what you may need, and then figure out how to get from point A to point B. Prioritize your purchases. Plan your time and focus on the most pressing things first. If you can, divide the efforts with other folks in your family members. You know what I mean? Like people that are prepping with you, if you have family members. So, if you're doing this yourself, it's up to you. But if you have other folks like your wife, your husband, uncles, aunts, cousins, and friends and whatnot, see if you can, as they call it, divide and conquer. So to me, that's one of the most critical steps when getting into prepping, is making a plan. Second, number two is doing research. Prepping, to me, there's a lot of research to be done when you first get into the preparedness community. And what you're doing now, if you're watching this video, to me, you're on that road to success. You're doing research, because prepping is not all about just buying stuff and buying stuff and buying stuff. There's a lot more to it than just acquiring material things. Of course, it's a part of it, but that's not what it all comes down to. If you don't have access to certain things, you can go to the library. You can search online. Just learn new things. Try to learn new skills. Things that you think that would help you through a rough time. You know what I mean? So I think research is super important. Watching videos, like I said, going to the library, doing reading, articles, blogs, all different types of things like that you can incorporate into your research. But to me, that's another key and important step into your road to becoming prepared. Number three is make a budget. Okay. Try to be somewhat intentional about your expenses, planning them out ahead of time, other than just, sporadic buying. You in your head, you're thinking, man, I need bug out bags, I need food, I need water, I need fire starters, I need ways to protect myself, I need shelters, I need this and this, and it can be extremely, extremely overwhelming. So instead of just, sporadically spending and buying things here and there, try to, make your budget, look where you want to start with, and a lot of times I'll say, you might want to start with food, because those are one of the key components to survival, and so on and so forth, before you run out and start buying expensive gear randomly. Sure, it'll be great to have, but when you're first coming into this whole community, you're like, man, there's just so much stuff, to purchase. And, I'm going to steal Rudy over at Alaska Prepper's quote that I'm going to owe him another 2 cents for is, slow and steady wins the race. And you don't ever want to put yourself into debt when it comes to trying to be more prepared. And then at the end of your budget, look what you have in excess, and instead of going to, your local fast food joint or, to your coffee house or wherever that you have excess spending, see if you can trim that fat and use some of that money to become and put that into your preps. All right, so number 4, and this is going to be more of a security thing, it'll make you feel a lot better, is make a small EDC. And if you don't know what EDC stands for, it means everyday carry, something that you carry on your persons at all times. It could be things that are on your keychain, just little things like that, little flashlights and stuff like that. But it can be extremely helpful in a lot of different situations, you know what I mean? And a lot of EDC stuff doesn't cost a lot of money. You even may have some of this stuff lying around your house, such as matches and cotton balls and Band-Aids and safety pins and, carabiners and stuff like that that you can add to this small EDC kit for you. It's just a place for you to start. I know some folks have these advanced EDC kits like myself, but put yourself something together and just think of your needs in advance. Like I said, you probably have a lot of these things lying around your house without even knowing it. So that's another option where you don't have to go out and spend excess money. If you think to yourself, well, if you want to put a few ibuprofen, or some sort of medications, just little odds and ends in this little EDC thing. Find yourself a little pouch. You don't have to go out and buy some expensive pouch just yet. If you want to start, at the most affordable way, some people may have just a small little bag laying around or something small that's, compact or something that you're just going to put on your persons and just try to put some stuff inside there. Number 5, and I've come to find out that this is very, very was helpful to me in my journey into the preparedness lifestyle, is learning to tie knots. And some people are like, really, what do you mean about knots? I said, cordage can be extremely helpful, in so many different ways, especially when it comes to your survival experience. You can learn to make snares and hang shelters. You can, when it comes to fishing knots, just try to learn, if every week if you can, there's all kinds of guides, there's apps, there's books, there's all different things about tying knots. And if you can learn, a couple a week of some of the basic knots out there, it's going to go a long way. And it'll help you make the best uses of your resources, especially when it comes to cordage. So I think, number 5 is another, like I said, I hope all these are important. I want to stress that importance to everything that I'm going over. But tying knots can come in extremely handy, like I said, for a lot of different things. You'll be surprised once you learn to tie these knots, how often you'll start using them in your day-to-day life. It's pretty intriguing. And then when you accomplish and learn these knots, then you can teach other family members. And I don't know, to me, when I learn something new, I always feel a worth of accomplishment. I'm like, man, this is awesome. And then I realize how I can use this every day, because then it becomes like muscle memory. You start mastering these knots, and you just become very comfortable with doing those without even thinking about it. All right, number 6, and number 6 is, a lot of people have asked me this, about get-home bags. You have your bug-out bags, you have your get-home bags, you have your EDC bags. A get-home bag is something more so along, let's say a 72-hour kit or something that you have inside your, you want to keep in your vehicle or whatnot. Let's start there, because your vehicle is where you're at, you're to and from, you know what I mean? You're going to work, you're going to places, you're going wherever the case may be. And I did a video about, vehicle preparedness, which I could probably put a link up somewhere right around here somewhere for you guys to see if you haven't seen that video yet. But ask yourself questions. Do you have jumper cables in your car? You also may have some other necessities, like I said, that may be that you can, in your home, that you can add in there. Think what happens if you happen to be stranded in your car for a day or two. What if you need to walk home? Do you have what you need in your car to get from point A to point B to get back to your home? So having a nice get home kit in your car will be very valuable to you. Now, again, this can be on the low cost end of things, and it can also run you a lot more depending on what you feel it's necessary. But a lot of you folks may have some of the stuff already in your car, like spare parts, some extra gas, some non-perishable food items. If you have an MRE, or if you have, let's say, a Mountain House, or you have something in there. Just try to think of the broad things. Think in your head and where environment that you live in, and your distance from work to your home, and try to incorporate, well, what would I need in this bag to so that I can get home from this place to this place, or if I had to walk it, what can I do and beyond there. And evidently I have my Discord up and it's making a lot of noise, so I do apologize for that in advance. Hopefully those folks will quiet down a bit. Alright, so moving on to number 7. Number 7, I've stressed this so many times and so many different videos and so many different live streams, is practice. Practice your skills. Skills are almost just like riding a bike. You know what I mean? Once you've learned it, you kind of never will forget it. It's like I said, it just becomes part of you. And I think practicing everything you do and everything that you purchase, every piece of gear that you have. My apologies. Joe and the roaming prepper are going at it back and forth. And yeah, of course, guys, I'm not going to cut the video and make a bunch of edits. I'm just going to roll with it. Hopefully, you guys will still get value out of this. Where was I? So, when you buy it, let's say something new, and it's like that, that shiny new thing, you want to take it out and practice with it. If you have a water filtration system, learn how to use it. If you're buy a new ferrocerium rod, just don't throw it in a bag. Go out and try it and apply it. If you're going to do, let's say you're out by your, let's say, what is it called? You have a fire pit and you're just going to have a fire with your family and kind of kick back and relax and stuff like that. Start the fire with the ferrocerium rod. You practice your skills. And everything, to me, practice is so extremely important when it comes to being prepared, because you don't want to be caught off guard. You want to learn how to use everything in your bag, everything around you, including your environment, to best suit your needs in a survival situation. All right. Now, number 8 is something I just even started this year, so it goes to show I've been a prepper for quite some time, but I've never done this aspect of it. So number 8 is going to be start a garden. It can be a small, tiny garden. It can be a window garden. It could be a garden on your patio. You don't have to go full-size monster garden. Start practicing your garden skills now. It's not very expensive if you go the small route. You know what I mean? You don't have to go, jump all the way in there and buy the most expensive fertilizers and the most expensive soils and all that stuff like that. But knowing when to plant certain seeds and certain crops, knowing how to plant them can go a long way. How to nurture these plants to make sure that they can go through their life cycle, and also knowing when to harvest these plants can be extremely a priceless information that would help you tremendously in your path to being prepared. All right, number 9, and you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. You're gonna hear a lot of redundancies, but number 9 is learn about wild edibles and medicinal plants. Many of us, when we go out on hikes, or if we're walking down the road, or if we're at a park, we pass tons, a smorgasbord of edible and medicinal plants on a daily basis. You would be surprised how many plants you probably walk by, or even in your yard, that you may not know exist. So if you can, get a, and I'm going to get into this too, this is part of it, but do some research and learn about, wild edibles and medicinal plants. There's lots of great channels out there that go over this material as well. Beyond myself, stuff like plantain and dandelions and, violets and chickweed, and there's so many things. Even something as simple, you can learn how to make pancakes out of acorns. This is just material that I've come across of, in my material that I consume on a daily basis, and the material that I read. Number 10, and I've been doing this for years, and it may take years. It may take people longer than others, but getting into shape. Get into shape is very, very important. It's going to make you feel better about yourself, to be honest with you. I've done it. I feel so much better from the journey that I'm going, and I'm continuing to do that. You know, you guys see me when I like to go in for my walks. I like to take my pack out with me so I can train and kind of put that weight on myself, and it makes me, you know, work a little bit harder. But if you can, go for a walk. If you can't jog, go for a walk. If you have really bad joints and you have access to a pool, do some swimming. You know, if you can, you know, lift some light weights. You know, just anything you can to be active. It's just, in any survival situation, being in shape is just going to be an advantage to folks that are not in shape. Now, I know there's people out there with disabilities, but let's say I know folks, friends of mine that are vets, that are wheelchair bound, who still do a lot of cardiovascular stuff. They still lift weights in their upper body. They do anything they can to try to stay in somewhat the best physical shape that they can. So by just saying, oh, I can't do that, or I don't have enough time, that's just an excuse. And hopefully I don't hurt anybody's feelings by say that, because I used to say that all the time. Well, I can't make it to the gym, or I don't have time to go for a walk around the block, or Lady Gray will say, let's go for a bike ride. Like, oh, I'm just too tired, let's just watch something on TV. Take a half hour out of your day and just go for that bike ride, go for that walk. Do it with your family. Make it a fun outing, you know what I mean? All right, where am I at? Number 11, and man, number 11, I'm such a huge proponent of this one, is collect books. Now, some folks may agree, you know, books can be very costly. Not so much. Yes, buying a brand new book can be very costly, but go to look at some of your local bookstores, you know, where they have used books. Go to thrift shops, go to yard sales and garage sales and all the things that are alike. You'll be surprised at sometimes the books that you will find there. I have found many books at the Goodwill that had to do with gardening, homesteading, let me see where else, hunting, cooking, you know, animal husbandry, exercising, you know, first aid. You'll be extremely shocked at the books you can find for pennies on the dollar at some of these places. So I think number 11 is another important one, collecting books. Collecting books can become so helpful, and it's also to have that tangible information in your hand, because sure, I can type something on the internet, but having something that I can read, physically hold, and reference is going to be so much more of a critical asset than if the grid was to go down, or a power outage, or whatever the case may be. Let's say you're in a snowstorm, blizzard, hurricane, tornado, whatever, and you don't have access to the net, you don't have access to certain material, but you have your book. Or if you want to, even, let me say this, make a little notebook of some key components to you that are very important. You know, make, like I said, back to number 1, making a plan. If you know you're in Hurricane Alley like myself here in Florida, I write down materials in my, I usually write in the rain because it's, you know, water and stuff like that, water, you know. But anyways, you can just use any notepad and try to keep it in a safe, dry place. Throw it in a Ziploc bag or something like that. What happens in your area that you may need to prepare for? Have that plan. And you know, and take some notes out of these books that you may collect. I call it, you know, the prepper library, and take some of the notations and put these in a little thing that you can have quick access to. You know, some people get really creative with this stuff, and they'll put little those little like colored different things, and they can flip through it. You know, red is for emergencies, yellow is for this, green's for that. You know, for food or whatnot. But I've seen some very creative stuff. All right. Number 12. Number 12 is something that I touched on earlier, you know, is the research aspect to it. And this might be kind of redundant, but read articles. You can learn a lot from others who have, you know, blazed, let's say blazed, or laid this path before you. You know, beyond just watching YouTube, go out and read blogs and research papers and informationals that you can find online while you can. You know, now's the time. If you have access to the internet or something like that, use it to the best of your ability. You know, you can even participate on online prepper communities. You know, there's a lot of communities that have different platforms where it's just more text-based and sharing of information and whatnot. So to me, number 12, reading articles can be very helpful to you, and you can do this at your own time. You know, you don't have to say, oh man, I missed this, or I missed that, I didn't get to do that. Because some people may not want to sit through an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour live stream and digest all the information. So if you, in a community where you can fall back and read the information, like, okay, this is what's done, and this is what's said, this is how I resolve that issue. So again, reading articles can be very important. Now, number 3, and I love number 3 because it just pertains to what I love about this community in itself, is drop comments. If you're watching these videos, drop comments below. Interact with each other. Everyone in this community has something to offer. And I've seen it and I loved it. In one of the most recent videos that I dropped, there was 100+ comments and people just talking amongst themselves and sharing information. So if you have questions, drop the questions down in the comments. If I don't answer it, another community member may answer that question. So I find this to be extremely valuable by interacting in the comments down below each one of these videos. And you'll be surprised the information that you'll receive. There's, like I said, tons of people in this community with loads and loads of information. They may be more of an expert in gardening, into the homesteading, into food preservation, and so on and so forth, if you kind of get where I'm going with that. So number 13, drop comments. It's extremely helpful, not only to the channel, but to yourself. You will learn a lot, as I have myself, from you, the community members, and the folks that watch these videos. All right. Sorry, I got to move my notes up. Keeps me on track, folks. Keep me on track. All right. Number 14, stay aware. Stay aware of your surroundings. Stay aware of what's going on in the news. And I know people are like, well, I don't want to watch the news. Well, then watch your favorite channel. There's lots of channels out there. There's lots of periodicals out there, online periodicals. If you get the newspaper, learn, stay aware. Specifically start where you live. Know what's going on and where you live, and then expand that to what's going on in your state, and then what's going on in the US, and then what's going on in the world. And some people are like, well, I don't care what's going on in South Africa. I don't care what's going on in Australia. Eventually, if you are not aware, those things can affect you long term. You have to understand everything is interconnected. Things that happen in other places have effects that kind of ripple throughout the entire world. Something that happens here in the United States. So let's use this for an example. The US dollar falls. It falls and becomes nothing. It's worthless. How do you think that would affect the rest of the world's economy? It is a lot. The effects can be, like I said, the shot heard around the world or whatnot, but you get what I'm saying. So staying aware for number 14 is super important. However you want to do that. That's why I always tell people, take off the blinders, stay aware of everything, stay vigilant, and just the more aware you are, the more prepared you will be. All right, folks, number 15. And thank you all for everyone who has lasted this long through this entire list. I truly appreciate your support and taking the time out of your day to watch this entire video. But number 15, and I think this is another extremely helpful tip, and it can cost you little to nothing depending on what your situation is practicing home repairs. So maybe you have a small appliance that's broken, something that's simple, let's say a blender or a toaster or something like that. Before you go out and just throw that toaster away, or go out and buy another cheap $10, $20 toaster, try to figure out what's wrong with it. Try to learn the aspect of how to repair these things, because the reason I say this is so important is because if things were to go really south in a critical situation, you just won't be able to go out and purchase another toaster. You'll have to learn to fix things. Go online now while you can, or get books. Get books. You see how this all relates to one another. Get books. Small plumbing repairs, small electrical repairs. And the better you become at this, the more money that you're going to save. If you can say, well, I can fix that, and you can go out and buy the necessary materials for it, or stock up on those materials, it'll save you money than having to call someone out and be like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because a lot of the times you'll be shocked. Years and years ago this happened to me. One of the AC units out in a friend of mine staying broke, and come to find out it was just a small resistor or something like that cost like $20 to replace. But calling the repairman and having them come out there and replacing it, he ended up spending $500-600 on a $20 repair. So practicing home repairs is another key and important thing, and to me it's another component to preparedness, because learning skills like that of plumbing, electricity, construction, how to just repair anything and everything possibly in your home will go a long way, because then you're dependent on yourself and not others. And like I said, it'll save you tons of money down the road, believe it or not. So hopefully a lot of you folks that watched this video, hopefully you've gotten some great value out of this content. If you did, please, again, give it a thumbs up. If you can share, like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I truly appreciate that. And, if you have friends that you think this might hold value to, share this with them. A lot of you other folks, and I've said this plenty of times before in the past, and I haven't said it in a while, honestly enough, but some of you guys have other forms of social media. Let's say you don't have Twitter, but you have MeWe. You don't have Facebook, but you have Getter. You might have Telegram or Discord or whatever platform that you're on, and you find something that you feel that you can share with the community or share with friends and family. You can share this video. Under every video it says share. You click it, copy the link, and share it somewhere. It helps get the information out. So I hope everybody has a phenomenal day. This is, I'll see everybody tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be going live tomorrow, so please join me tomorrow night. Again, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Late Night with Gray. I hope to see everyone there. And other than that, this is GreyMan. I'm out, and I'll see you guys on a rebound. God bless, and have a great day.